Welcome to the Rise of the Trades podcast, the show dedicated to helping you to build, grow, and scale your trades or construction business. All rise for your host, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to this week's coaching episode of the Rise of the Trades podcast, where we help trades and construction business owners to skyrocket leads, explode net profits without having to graft 60 hours a week and becoming that busy fool. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you how landing pages and vetting forms will increase your conversion rates, get rid of time wasters and tyre kickers, and therefore helping you to win more jobs and scale your construction or trades business. But before we go there, I'd just like to ask a quick favour, and that is, if you feel as though you're getting value from these episodes, could I please ask you to either hit the subscribe or the follow button on whatever platform you're listening to this episode on right now? Because not only will you get notified of our weekly episodes moving forward, but it'll also help the algorithm push our episodes out to more people that need our help. Now, let's transition over to this week's coaching episode. For the past 30 years, one of the main strategies that every trades and construction business has used is they've always had a website, right? So let's build a website and then we can drive traffic back to our website and then people can fill in the contact us form and send us a lead and inquiry. And that's all right. That's worked for the last 30 years. And even though so many of you will have invested into a website, the vast majority of websites don't generate leads. And that's because the person who's developed the website hasn't got the right strategy. They haven't built the right navigation and they've not SEO'd your website for all the keywords that people are searching for. So even though you might have a website, the website is not generating you leads. Now, just a quick one. If that is you and you want to understand more about how to turn your website into an inquiry generating machine, I want you to go and listen to episode number 16. Because in episode 16, I give you the 16 fundamental features that you need to add onto your website to turn it into that inquiry generating machine. So go and have a listen to episode 16. But the website strategies worked, but it's nowhere near as powerful as what building landing pages and vetting forms are. Now, for the last 3, maybe even touching 4 years, I've been teaching my inner circle members the strategy around landing pages. And when we ask our inner circle members, has your conversion rate increased? The answer is always yes. And likewise for all of the marketing strategies we use in all my different businesses, we're heavily pushing the landing page strategy because it just converts so much better than what websites do. So in this episode, I want to walk you through what this strategy is and explain it all to you so you can go away and start to build your own landing pages and vetting forms that's going to increase your conversion rate, which means you'll win more jobs. And as long as your jobs are profitable and you understand your numbers, you'll start to grow your business. Now, first of all, let me just explain what we mean and what is a landing page, because I talk about them all the time, and I'm sure you've heard of whether it be me talking about them or somebody else. But actually, what is a landing page and how does it differ from a website? So a landing page is one page. So imagine like a one-page website where you've got no tabs at the top that they can click on. It's just one page that you're going to send all your traffic to. But unlike a website that's got loads of tabs and loads of pages, this is just one page. And on that one page, you are going to promote or advertise one service or one product that you offer. So let me give you an example. Let's say you are a Sparky, right? On your landing page, you might have rewires, first and second fix, EV charging points, solar PV, consumer or fuse box changes, and even small electrical works like fixing Mrs. Jones's dodgy light switch or adding another plug socket in someone's kitchen, right? You do all them. Or it might be let's say a plumbing and heating engineer, and you are doing emergency call outs. You might be doing bathrooms. You might be doing boiler installs, boiler repairs, boiler care plans, heat pumps. Are you with me? So each trade does lots of different services or products. But a landing page will only be promoting one of those products or services. So let's go back to the Sparky. If that Sparky does 5 or 6 different services, he'll have maybe 5 or 6 different landing pages. But each one of them landing pages will only have one product or service on it. So let's say that somebody wants to offer solar PV and they want to sell more solar installations. They will only on that one single page be promoting and marketing solar installations, and that's it. They won't have rear wires on, they won't have consumer units on, they won't have small electrical works on. They'll have none of that. The only thing that people can get information about when they land on that page is solar PV. Likewise, let's go for the plumber. He might have a landing page, and the only thing that his traffic can do when they land on that landing page is find out information about boiler installations, because he wants to sell more boilers. So on there, he won't have heat pumps, he won't have bathrooms. All they would have is boiler installations. Do you get me? So a landing page, in brief, is one page that's dedicated to promote, advertise, or sell just one product and one service only, not everything. Your website is designed to sell everything, and this is the difference between landing pages and websites. Landing pages are specific for one product or service only. Websites is an informational brochure whereby you whack every service on your website. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, the reason why landing pages convert more people into paying customers than a website is landing pages are solely specific on that one product and service only. So if you are wanting to sell more solar installations, and let's say you send an email out to your database, let's say you're running paid advertising on Google or Facebook, let's say that you're using social media to send posts out, or you've got a YouTube channel and you want to do a video on YouTube, you would have more success if you are talking about solar panels and solar installations in them ads, social media, YouTube channel, email. If that's what you're promoting, you'd have more chance of converting someone into a paying customer if you sent them back to a landing page that had solar PV on it. Because think about it, if you send traffic back to your website and and you're talking about solar PV, when they get back to your website, yes, you can send them direct to the solar PV page on your website. But when they're on the website, there's too many distractions. So, for example, they might start reading or consuming the content on your website, about solar PV, but then they might go, oh, what's this? And click on something else. And before you know it, they're now looking at rewires. Or even worse, they might click on your Facebook or Instagram icon on your website, and then before you know it, you've took them off your ultimate sales tool, which is your website, and now they're on YouTube or Instagram, randomly scrolling and doom scrolling, which means that targeted email or Facebook ad or social media post or YouTube video has now lost the interest of that customer because you've sent them back to a website that's got too many distractions and too much noise on it. Think about it. A customer or potential customer can get easily lost on a website, clicking on random different buttons and icons and tabs, watching different videos. There's a lot going off on a website, so you've got more chance of losing them. Whereas if you were to send the email, the ad, the social media post, or the YouTube video back to a dedicated page where the only thing that they can consume and find information out on that one page is solar PV, and that's what that content that you're putting out is around to sell, then obviously there's no distractions. The social media post is saying, hey, listen, if you want solar PV and you want to save more money on your energy bills, when rising energy costs are going up, click this link. If they go back to a solar PV landing page, that's the only thing they can consume. So now you've grabbed their attention and you've kept their attention, whereas on a website, you've potentially lost them. So think about it. When you're putting content out there and you're driving traffic back to one of your ultimate sales tools, where are you actually sending them back to? Because if you're sending traffic back to your website, the chances are you're going to lose them. Send them back to a dedicated landing page, the chances are you've got more chance of taking them to that next part of the sales pipeline, which would be a vetting form. Are you with me? Now, we've got all the stats and numbers to back up that landing pages are converting higher than a website. So therefore, it makes sense for you to start thinking about building landing pages. Whether you've got a website or not, in today's day and age, you need landing pages and you need to implement this strategy. Now think about it. If we can get more people back to a dedicated landing page, we know from our statistics that you are going to convert more people into paying customers, and therefore you're going to start to win more of the jobs that you go out and look at and you price. And as I've already said, as long as they're profitable, you're going to end up making more profit, all because you've introduced a landing page instead of a website. Now, I'm not saying that you don't need a website, because you do need a website. In actual fact, if you wanted to put your lead generation on steroids and you really did want to grow your business, you'd use both. You'd use the website strategy and you'd use the landing page strategy. Now, you might say, hang on a minute, Craig, aren't you contradicting yourself here? You've just said that we shouldn't be driving traffic back to our website. We should be driving them back to a landing page. But what we've got to remember is the purpose and strategy around a website is completely different to the strategy and purpose of a landing page. Let me explain. The website strategy is all based around SEO, search engine optimization. In other words, when people take to, let's say, search engines like Google or Bing, and they're typing in, joiner in Sheffield, roofer in Sheffield, or plasterer in Sheffield, right? They're using Google and search engines to troll the internet, and then depending on how your website has been built, and if it's got the 16 fundamental features on, and it's SEO'd correctly, then your website is going to start showing up on Google on page 1. And that's where ultimately you need to be. Because if you're not on page 1 of Google, your website is going to be hardly existence to anyone. Nobody's going to find it. Are you with me? So the purpose behind a website is to be organically found on search engines like Google when people type keywords into Google. Then your website ranks, people can find your business, and then they can inquire through your business. So that is an SEO strategy used for people doing organic searches on directories. That's what a website purpose is. But the landing page purpose is not for people to use Google to find a landing page. That's what the website is designed for. The landing page is designed for you to send organic, write that word down, organic traffic back to your landing page. And when I mean organic traffic, I'm talking about exactly what I've just said. Maybe you're writing an email and you're sending an email broadcast out to your potential past customers or existing customers, trying to sell one product or service to them. Or organic would mean the paid adverts that you're doing on Facebook or Google, they would be adverts for one product or service. Therefore, that organic traffic needs sending to a landing page. Or if you're sharing a social media post and you are an eating engineer and the post is about boiler installations and look at this boiler I've just installed, you'd send that traffic back to a boiler landing page. Are you with me? So what I mean by organic traffic is where you're not relying on Google or search engines to rank you. You're relying on the content, the videos, the podcasts, the blogs, the vlogs, the emails, the texts, anything that you create organically that you're going to send out, that traffic needs sending to a dedicated landing page, not your website. So think about it. When I said you need both strategies, imagine having a website that's built like we build them. Whether you know this or not, I don't know, but we at the Trades Freedom Club, we've got our own marketing department and we build our members' websites. We look after the 16 fundamental features and we do all the SEO and we'll get you to page 1 of Google. So what I'm saying is, imagine having a website that is ranking on Google, right, for the people searching to find your product or service. Then those people are going to land on your website and you're going to get a lead. But for all the organic traffic that you're now creating, you're going to send them to a landing page and now you're going to get organic traffic. So now you've got the best of both worlds. You've got your website that's been generating leads with people that haven't consumed your content or haven't seen a social media post or aren't on your email list. They've just naturally found you on Google. You're going to get that traffic plus all of the content that you're organically sharing where people do see your post or do see your email. You're now going to get that traffic. So now you're doubling up. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's important that we understand the distinction and the separation between the website strategy compared to the landing page strategy. So what I want you to consider is, what is your most popular and most profitable service that you offer in your business? Because whatever that is, I would suggest that you go away and build a landing page specifically for that product or service that is the most popular and the most profitable. And then once you've got that landing page, you then start driving traffic back to it, depending on what that service is you're offering. You start using your landing page then for all the organic traffic. But ultimately, what you're wanting to do is once you've built that landing page, you then look at another product and service and you build another landing page for that one. So what you're going to end up with let's say in this case of, let's use the plumbing and heating engineer again. Let's say that your 3 most popular and profitable services are boiler installation, let's say boiler servicing, and then the other one could be heat pumps. Let's just go down that route. So what you would do is you'd have a dedicated landing page built for boiler installation. Then you'd have a separate one built for boiler servicing or care plans perhaps. And then you'd have a third one built, which is for heat pumps, because heat pumps are completely different to a boiler installation. Are you with me? So eventually you will end up with a landing page specifically for each product or service that you offer. And then once you are sending organic traffic out, talking about heat pumps in this example, all them blogs, vlogs, videos, YouTube, paid ads, emails, social media posts, all that lot would drive people back to the heat pump landing page. Do you see where I'm going with this? So that's the strategy that I want you to start to think about doing. Now, I'm going to share with you some software that will allow you to build your own landing pages. Drag and drop, really simple, really straightforward, where you can build these yourself. You don't need to become a tech expert. You don't need to be a web designer. You can build them yourself. And we've got over 1,000 templates sat waiting for you to just drag and drop and change. But I'll share that software at the end of this episode. So now we've built a landing page, the next thing that we need to build in what we call a funnel is we need to build a vetting form page. Because let's face it, how many time wasters and tyre kickers do you deal with in your business? And I'm sure you do. I'm sure you get them customers that want everything for nothing and they want it for they want it yesterday. And the problem is if you are not vetting your customers and you don't have vetting forms in place and you're going and looking at just about every job that comes in, every lead that comes in, every phone call, every contact us form, every inquiry, if you're not vetting them, this is what's going to happen. You are going to end up wasting an incredible amount of valuable time that you haven't got time to waste and time to give away for free on people that were never going to be your target market and paying customer anyway. Let me give you a quick example. I used to be so naive with this years ago. And not only were I naive, but I also had put myself in a really vulnerable position. And what I mean by this is, when I started to really scale my loft conversion business, and I ended up with, I don't know, let's say 5, 6, 7 members of staff and part of my team. And at that point, we were probably doing 3 loft conversions at a time. If you think about it, when you start to grow your business and you get more employees or subbies working for you, that's great because you can get through more work. But the more work that you get through and the more team you've got, the more you've got to what I call feed the beast. And what I mean by feed the beast is, where's the fucking work going to come from? If you're eating through work because you've got a bigger team, you need more work coming in, don't you? You need more jobs coming in. And what I used to get to a point of doing is, when I said I was naive and I put myself in a vulnerable position, I got to a point where I'm thinking, fucking hell, we're getting through all this work and I've got all these lads working for me and all these subbies. But now, because we're eating through work, I've only got let's say 3 loft conversions booked in, where in reality, I should have had 9 booked in to keep the teams going. So what starts to happen at that point is panic stations start to set in. And I'm sure you've been there yourself. It's like feast or famine. Some months you've got months and months or weeks and weeks of work ahead. And then others, you get through that and all of a sudden it's, shit, where's work coming from? I've got all these lads that I need to be paying wages for. I need the work. Where's it going to come from? Now, because I put myself in that position where I'm feeding the beast, I'm almost at a point now where I'm thinking I need to almost look at every job and every inquiry that comes in because I need the work. Are you with me? And even made the mistake sometimes of dropping my prices just to buy work to keep my team going. And that's a massive no-no. That's a big red flag that you're going to end up in financial difficulty. So this is the point that I were at. So when I were getting leads coming in, I were making ridiculous decisions to go out and look at almost every job because I needed the work. So there'd be some times where, an inquiry might come in and they go, we work shifts, I need to be in when my husband's in. If you're going to come round and give us a quote, Craig, we both need to be in. Any chance you can come on Sunday at 3:00? And me, Mr. Idiot here, who didn't value his time and knew that I needed work, I'd go, I'll come at 3:00 on Sunday. And then I put phone down and go, why have I said that? Because now I've got to give my Sunday up to maybe travel from one side of Sheffield to other. And if you know Sheffield, it's a big city. So I'd drive from our house on a Sunday all the way to the other side of Sheffield, which might have took me 40 minutes. Then I'd have spent probably an hour and a half chatting to customer, surveying loft, measuring everything up, running through all questions with them. Then I'd drive another maybe 40 minutes back home. Then I'd spend probably 3 or 4 hours putting the price together. Then I'd have to put the quote, proposal or estimate together. Then I'd send that out to him. And then I'd get ghosted. And even when I tried to text them or ring them, they'd ghost me. And I'm like, well, fuck me. I've given my Sunday up to go to the other side of Sheffield. When I combine all this time together that it's took me to go and look at the job, price a job, put it together and send it across, it might have took me 6 hours. It could have took me a full day in some cases. So here's me spending half a day, 6 hours, a full day into pricing every job. And then in most cases, I'd get ghosted. Or I would get hold of the customer and they'd say, Craig, we're really sorry, but, we'd love you to do the job. Everything were great and, really professional, but we've gone with a cheaper quote. And I'd be like, for fuck's sake, I've just wasted all that time. Do you get what I'm saying? So for these reasons, we have to put vetting in place because just like you and like me, you haven't got time to be wasting hours and hours or a full day surveying, pricing, and putting a proposal together just to get ghosted or for the customer to say, we didn't have the budget, we've had to go with someone cheaper. And then when I learned about vetting and the power of vetting and how this has a massive effect on your conversion rate and winning jobs, I'm like, I get it now. If I were to start asking questions up front before I've even been to see that job or even spoke to a customer on phone, if I can get the answers to the questions that I would need to determine whether they were a time waster and a tyre kicker up front and discount them, I've just protected probably 6 hours of my time. So what I started doing years ago, and I mean this years ago, one, we started vetting people with vetting forms online, but two, those same vetting questions we would have as a vetting script. So whether I answered the phone or one of my admin team answered the phone, we would take every phone call inquiry through that script as well. And by the time we'd ask the questions, we could then determine whether we wanted to give up our valuable time to go and invest into looking at that job and pricing it, or whether in actual fact they didn't have the budget or they wanted it done yesterday and we were booked up months in advance. Are you with me? We can start to suss this out. So what we need to do is, from that landing page that we build, the call to action buttons on that landing page for whatever service you're offering needs to have buttons on there that says things like get an instant free quote, or I want a quote now, or give me a quick quote. Are you with me? And when they click the button on that landing page, it's going to take that traffic away from that landing page and re-divert them to a vetting form. And this is where you're going to be, first of all, capturing all their contact details first. So what you must do on a vetting form is not leave their contact details till the end to the final question. Because what we need to do is collect their email address, maybe mobile number up front, so that we've got their details up front and we can mark it back to them should they decide to not go through the vetting form. Are you with me? So what we do is we collect the contact details first. Then what we do is we ask a series of questions that allows us to determine whether they're going to be a time waster or not. And these questions must include these two answers. Number one, their budget, and number two, their timescales. Now, you'll no doubt ask more questions. We're not just going to go, what's your budget and when do you want job doing? Because we don't know what job they want doing, and there's other questions that we might need to ask. Are you with me? But what I'm saying is, if you were to write down the questions that you would need to ask, whether that be on a vetting form, online, or questions that you might ask a potential customer over the phone when they first inquire, to determine, are they going to be right for you or are they a time waster? What would those questions be? Because for every service that you offer, there may be a different question. And certainly depending on what trade you're in, you'll be asking different questions. So for example, a tiler will be asking a different question to a joiner. A joiner will be asking different questions to a plumber. A plumber will be asking different questions to a scaffolder. Do you get me? So there's going to be unique questions that are only relatable to your trade and that particular service. But regardless of that, you've got to be asking what the budget is and what the timescales for having the work done. Because usually we can tell whether they're going to be a time waster from the answers to the questions that include the budget and the timescales. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be giving you a podcast now where the vetting form questions and how you ask for the budget, because you never just say, what's your budget? Because if you say, what's your budget, the likelihood is they're not going to tell you. So there's a set of questions and a way in which we ask them that will 100% get that customer to give you the budget. And for you that are listening to this that say, Craig, they'll never give me the budget because they'll not want to tell it me. They'll think I'm going to try and put my prices up to suit the budget, or they'll think we're going to rip them off. Listen, I had all them limiting beliefs too. And so did every single one of the thousands of business owners that I've coached. But let me tell you now, if your branding is correct and the professionalism of your landing page and your website is correct, and you're asking the questions the way in which I'm going to share with you in the next episode is correct, and when it comes to the budget price, You're asking them, does your budget fall between these numbers? And you give them a series of multiple choice selections that they can choose. I'm telling you now, they will give you their budget. And if they don't give you the budget for whatever reason, and they leave the vetting form at that point, the likelihood is they were going to be a time waster anyway. But usually 8 to 9 out of 10 people will give you the budget if it's asked in the right manner and you look super professional with your branding and your websites and your marketing and everything else, they will give you the budget. So this episode that I want you to go away and listen to is episode number 36. And that is called How to Create a Vetting Form to Get Rid of Time Wasters and Replace them with Pre-Qualified Leads. So that's episode number 36. Because what we want to move away from is dealing with cold leads or dealing with time wasters. We need to replace them with what I call warm leads, and even better, write this down, pre-sold, ready to buy leads and inquiries. We almost want to pre-qualify these people, and as long as we can pre-qualify them, and as long as we tick all the boxes that particular customer needs ticking from a business to solve the problem that they've got, I'm telling you now, your conversion rates are going to go skyrocketing up. Why? Because you're using a vetting form. Now, here's the beauty about vetting forms. You can set what they call conditional logic, which means if they answer, let's say, a really low budget on their question, it will stop them in that process and say, unfortunately, our boilers start from X amount of price, or our solar PV installations start from X amount of price. It can stop them in the process so they don't go any further. But at the same time, if they answer all the questions and they are a potential warm lead or a pre-sold ready to buy lead, do you not think that we want them to, at the end of the vetting form, when they've passed all the vetting questions, get them to do something else that speeds up this sales process, safeguards your time, and turns them into a paying customer as quick as we can? Of course we would. So in the next chapter, I'm going to be sharing with you exactly what we need to do once they've been through the vetting form. Step number 3. Ask yourself this question. If I've pre-vetted the customer and they've passed all the vetting questions, or they've called me and we've passed all the vetting questions over the phone, what would be the next logical thing that you would do on your customer journey? And I'm guessing the next logical thing is you'd book an appointment in with that customer to go out and do either a home or a site survey of whatever it is that you're offering. Because they've got the budget, the timescales fit, all the questions they've sent back are bang on. So the next thing is you need to go and look at job, don't you? And then give them a price. Now, I'm going to diversify back to the website strategy here. And if you remember, what we said is on a website, traditionally, you've got a contact us form that people can click and they'll put the details in, all the contact details, maybe a bit of a description of the work that they want doing. And then what happens is they submit that contact us form and you no doubt get an email saying Mrs. Jones has enquired you've got a new lead. But then it's up to you to find the time to contact that person who's not been vetted, by the way, at this stage, have they? They've just gone through a contact us form. But you would then contact that person, which means a phone call. Maybe you don't get hold of them. Maybe they're busy. So it might take 2 or 3 phone calls before you get hold of them. And then you'd have a chat with them over the phone. And then you book the home or site survey in. Now, the problem with using old-fashioned contact us forms on websites is they stop the sales process. Because if someone were to fill that contact us form in at, let's say, 11 o'clock on a Friday night, and you set preservation goals and you don't work weekends, they filled it in at 11 o'clock on a Friday night, but you're not going to respond back to that customer at the earliest until Monday morning. And no doubt Monday morning you're busy sorting out labour and customers and jobs, so it might be Monday afternoon, might even be Tuesday before you get back to them. And in today's day and age, that's unacceptable. For a customer to inquire on a Friday and you have to wait until Monday or Tuesday to get back to them, that's unacceptable timescale-wise, but also you've stopped the sales process for 3 to 4 days. And we can't do that. So the other benefit and beauty about this landing page and this funnel that I'm sharing with you is we don't have to stop the sales process. In actual fact, we can speed the sales process up, removing you completely out of it so it's not taking any of your time by adding a calendar at the end of the vetting form. So just hang with me here. Let me explain what I mean. They've gone through your vetting form. You know they're right for you because they've answered all the right questions. So why stop the sales process there? Why don't we give them a calendar page? Let's call it a survey, appointment, meeting, calendar page, whatever you want to call it, whereby you set times and dates where you're available to go and do a home or site survey. And then what would happen is the customer would go through the vetting form, get redirected to a survey calendar where they could then select a date and time that you've already preset. They would, let's say, set Friday, 3 o'clock. They put the details in and their address, brief description of the work that they wanted doing. They would click submit, and what that would do then is that would book them in for a home or site survey. But more importantly, it would trigger an email and a text message off to that customer, all automated without you doing anything, confirming that appointment date and time. And it would also then trigger a reminder email and text to that customer, maybe 3 or 4 hours before that appointment, or if you wanted to set it for the day before, you could do it that way. You, as the business owner then, would automatically get a text message saying, Mrs. Jones has booked a home survey for 3 o'clock on Friday. Here's all the details, and here's all the answers to their vetting form questions. You'd also get an email sent to your inbox as well. So think about this. You've now not stopped the sales process. The sales process is now continuing. The customer journey is continuing. You've not had to wait until you found the time to go back and contact that customer, and that's even if you can get hold of them on the first or second call. No, what you've now done is you built a funnel. And you are now funneling that pre-vetted customer down a pipeline and down a customer journey that's all built, that's automated without you having to do anything. I mean, how amazing is that? Do you think that that's going to wow your customer? Absolutely it is. And has it taken any of your time? No. So what's happening now is this, what started off as a landing page to a vetting form and a calendar has now turned into what we call a funnel. And the customer has gone down that funnel without you having to do anything. So let's say it is 11 o'clock on a Friday night and they have gone through your vetting form and they've hit the calendar. You just get a text and an email saying Mrs. Jones has booked a survey in for this date at this time and here's all the vetting details. Boom, job done. You haven't had to lift a finger. So you could be sleeping and then you get up the next morning, you've got a text message and an email, somebody's booked an appointment in and given you all the details and they've been vetted. That's amazing, isn't it? How professional does that look? How has that speeded the sales process up? And has it taken any of our time? No. Once you've built this mini funnel, it's built. It runs forever, 24/7, 365 days a year, and you don't have to do jack. It's all done for you. Now imagine this. Imagine you've got this vetting form, this landing page vetting form and calendar, an automation that's sat behind triggering without you doing anything. Imagine you've got that for your most profitable and your most popular service. And then you go, I'm going to build the same again, a landing page, a vetting form, and a calendar page for my next service. And then I'm going to do the same for the next service. All of a sudden, you're systemizing and automating your entire marketing strategy and customer journey. Your lead generation now is all automated and systemized on autopilot without you doing anything. All you need to do at that point is make sure that you are creating organic content, as we've already said, maybe emails, social media posts, blogs, vlogs, videos. All you need to do is create the content and then share the correct landing page and the correct funnel to the correct service that you're promoting, maybe on social media. And when you start to do this, you, just like my Inner Circle members, will start to wake up to an inbox full of vetted leads, already qualified, already booked into your calendar, and all the communication, i.e. emails and text message, has automatically been triggered without you doing anything. And you go out on time, you rock up, you ask the customers all the relevant questions that you need to ask when you're out doing a survey. You come back, you price the job up immediately, you get the price straight back to your customers with the terms and conditions, with your payment terms and an idea of installation or fitting date. And you get that lot systemized as well, which you can do through this software, by the way. And you wow the pants off your customer. You know they've got the budget and you know that the timescales fit and you provide that high level of service. Now compare that to the other option, where that exact same customer has gone through your funnel and it's all booked in and they've got their appointments and the reminders, all that lot's booked in. But they want 3 quotes. So now they're on your competitor's website because they haven't got landing pages. And they go to their Contact Us form and they fill out their Contact Us form, but it's still 11 o'clock on a Friday evening. And then it takes that person or that business owner in your competitor till Tuesday the following week to get back to them. And then there's no vetting process in place. There's no automated calendar in place. There's none of the automations and texts that get automatically triggered. Everything's done manually. So everything's taking twice as long. You go out and do your survey, get everything back to that customer immediately. They go out and do the survey, they rock up late. When they get there, they don't ask the right questions. When they get there, they're saying to the customer words like, oh, I'm busy, so can I get back to you in 2 or 3 days with a price? Which customers do not want to hear, by the way. Then they're late getting the quote back to them. But eventually, maybe after the customer chasing them for that quote, the quote goes in. And the prices between you and this other person are a little bit, maybe they're the same. Maybe you're a few £100 more than them. who do you think they're actually going to go with? Do you think they're going to go with this super professional outfit that's kept the communication going, that's been slick, that's got the quote back to them immediately and wowed them? Or do you think they're going to go with the traditional tradesman that's slow getting back to them, that they've had to already start chasing? And they look at compare the prices and they're almost identical. Who's going to win the work? You're going to get it. So when I say to you that this is about not only wowing your customers, not only protecting and not you having to do everything manually and protecting your time, this is about increasing your conversion rates and winning more jobs on autopilot without you having to do any more work. In fact, you're doing less work, aren't you? So you're winning more work and spending and investing less time into your business. That's how a business is supposed to run. Now, everything I've shared in this episode, everything from building a landing page where you do not have to be tech savvy. We've got landing pages set up as templates for just about every trade. All you need to do is you need to log in, go and choose a landing page template that you like the look of, add your own logo on, upload your own logo, change any text that you want, like on a Word document. You just type into text box and it changes text. If you want to upload your own images, you can click on the images that we've already pre-uploaded and you can just swap them out. So, and then your brand colours, maybe your green, brown, blue, red, yellow, whatever, just like on a Word document where you can change the colour of the fonts or change the colour of the background, you just change the colour. Right? Boom, you've got a landing page built. You don't have to be a web designer. You just need to know how to click a button. 2, you're then in the same software going to build the vetting form where you can put this conditional logic behind the back of it, which will then either stop them if they don't answer the right questions with the right answers, or it will let them pass to the end of the vetting form if they do. That vetting form is exactly the same. It's like drag and drop. If you get a blank canvas, if you want to collect their email address, you drag an email address box in, it drops it on. If you want to grab their home address, you drag that on, drop it on, and it creates a field for them to put their home address in. Any questions, multiple choice questions, or a question that you might want radial buttons where they can select 1 or 3 different options, all that lot is in the vetting form. It's easy to build. That's all in the same software. And then the calendar, that's in the same software. You bring a calendar in, you choose a calendar. All you need to do is set the date and the time that you want to do your surveys. The calendar's in the software. And then if that's not enough, all the automations where you trigger your emails and text confirmation to the customer and maybe some reminder emails and text to the customer, and the text message and email that you get when somebody's booked a survey or a site or home survey that comes to you, all that lot's built in the same software. So you don't have to go anywhere. You just build it all in a piece of software. Now that software is called Leadzilla. And if you wanted to get a 14-day free trial to Leadzilla, I've left a link to it in the show notes and the description of this episode, and you can go and set up a free trial. But not only are you going to get a free trial, you're going to get access to a private community where we help train you up on how to use Leadzilla, how to build your landing pages, how to build your vetting forms, how to build your calendar and build your automations, and it's absolutely free. We don't charge anything for it. And the reason being for this is we want to help you grow your business. So the more information we can give you to make it a no-brainer for you to implement the strategies that I share on this episode, the more we can do, then we'll do it. Our mission is to help 1 million tradesmen and women across the globe to become time and financially free. So if we've got to go over and above to help you, then so be it, we'll do it. And we do that by giving you a calendar with live Q&As, live trainings in it. And if you can't make the live Q&As and the live training to see how Leadzilla works, you don't have to worry, because we record every single session and then we add it into a private community so you can watch it back on replay at a time that suits you. Are you with me? So if you think about our mission, look at this podcast, listen to it every week. Go and listen to the 90 plus previous episodes before. All this is free, and this is all part of us having the mission of helping 1 million tradesmen and women. That's exactly what we're here to do. So go and check out that 14-day free trial link in the show notes and the description of this episode. Go and set it up. Go and set up a free account, and then come and join us on the training, and let's help you to systemize and automate your entire marketing strategy. Now, remember what I said earlier on in this episode. You know, we've been teaching our Inner Circle members now for 3+ years on this strategy, and they're using it, and it's massively helped them to convert more of the leads that are coming in, to grow the business, but more importantly, to save them time so we're not wasting time on them time wasters and tyre kickers. But to get to that point, they've had to do something that other people are not prepared to do. And that is build a landing page, build a vetting form, build their calendar, and build their automations. Now, the point I'm making here is this. My Inner Circle members are likely to be your competitors. And if they're already out of the door with this, I mean, I'm not even going to mention really AI that they're bolting on, because we can do a lot more. Now we've got AI, and that's for another episode, right? But they're all now bolting AI and AI bots onto all this, which is putting all this on steroids. So if you're still doing it old school, whether that's through a website contact us form, or you're still sending WhatsApp messages and text messages manually to customers, and you're having to physically call the customer and speak to them to vet them and then get them booked into your calendar. If you're doing all this manually, I'm going to say that you have now fallen miles behind the standard and the norm of what this industry is like now, because there are hundreds of thousands of tradesmen and women, not only in UK, but across the world, that are using these types of strategies. And the longer you leave it to get on board with this, the further and further behind you're getting. Never mind when they're bolting AI on and they've got AI bots doing all this for them now. Are you with me? So remember, when you're prepared to do things that your competitors aren't prepared to do, then you'll get a greater and better result. And my Inner Circle members are getting that now, and I want you to get the same results. So what I'd love you to do is come into our free Trades Freedom Club Facebook group and community. Tell me that you've listened to episode 97 and come and tell us, what is it that you're committing to from this episode? What are you now going to go away and do? Or if you're a Growth Club member, come into our Growth Club and our school community and tell us inside there. And if you tag me in, I'll come back and I'll put a post on that. I'll come back and reply back to your post, and I'll leave you a comment. And if you need any more help and support with this, either come to us Facebook group or come to the Growth Club, and I'll gladly help you out. Now, the links to the Facebook group and the Growth Club are in the show notes and the description, along with the 14-day free trial to Leadzilla. And remember, the business is never the problem. The problem is always the mindset of the business owner. I'll catch up with you on next week's episode, and I'll meet you at the top. Thank you.